Long ago, a great warrior came to this village and entrusted our ancestors with this. Its power and responsibility now lie with you.
Hello there, and welcome to the Star Wars Guys YouTube channel where the Force is family. I am Master Paul, and joining me today is my special guest, one of my Tuesday Night Trek co-hosts.
Golgo 13 of Golgo 13's Anime 101. How you doing, Paul?
Yes, I'm doing very well.
Most excellent.
So, we are gathered today to talk about Star Wars Visions, and this is going to be the first in a series of videos that we're going to talk about for each episode. That way we can talk about each episode at length and not have to worry about time constraints. But anyways, so I've got all the episodes listed out here, and we're going to go ahead and get into the duel. And of course, right off the bat, I'm going to throw this up for anyone that hasn't seen this. If you have not seen Visions, click off this video and go watch it, or at least watch the duel so that you can see this one. That being said, here we go. This one is, if I was to rank these, this one's probably in my top 3.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, I'd say top 3. Um, Definitely the art style is something that I think is a big plus for this episode, because I've tried to watch a bunch of different animes before, but this one had an art style unlike any of the others that I had seen. It's very dark, it's very gritty, and I think it lends itself very well to the Star Wars universe. Um, and getting this part out of the way right off the bat, that umbrella saber, I think a lot of people were really concerned about how that was going to be handled, in the lead up to this episode. But seeing how it works, honestly, I have no problem with it because it's basically just an attachment optional for a normal lightsaber, same as the main character's his saber that gets stored into a scabbard. Because number one, that scabbard is a lightsaber unto itself, but number two, he likes to carry it around with that attached. Obviously, of course, inspired by, Japanese art. So, what did you think of this episode?
This is an incredible episode, and the way that I've explained things with these shows is from two aspects. One, as a Star Wars fan, and then the other side as an anime fan. As a
Mhm.
Star Wars fan, I thoroughly enjoyed it. It was decent story. It was a little too short for my taste. It needed to be longer, but good story, good elements, good use of just a good use of everything. It has the feel that it takes place right after the fall of the Empire, so in the time of the Mandalorian, and it
Mhm.
uh, it uh, it has a lot of traditional Japanese elements to it, from the village to the way they dress. Everything about it screams traditional Japanese. From the anime
I
side of things, I really liked it. You're right. This particular style is not very common in anime. It is more common in the manga or the comic books, but not in anime. So it does lend itself to that, and it's Kurosawa, I believe, is
Yes.
the gentleman's name. Yeah, the Kurosawa style of Japanese cinema or samurai films or everything. Looking at it on first glance, it looks perfect. And this, out of as far as this episode goes, it needed to be longer, but even though it's not longer, it is a great episode. But there are certain things about it that lend to being a Kurosawa film, but there are some things that are missing. And I think part of it is because of the allotted time that was given, or the allotted time that they chose to stick within, doesn't allow for enough explanation or enough exposition to take place.
Right, because on average, the runtime for each of these episodes is like 13 minutes, which is shorter than any show that I've ever heard.
Yeah, it's only half of a half hour show basically.
Right. And something that I really like about this particular episode that we really have not seen delved into that much is we've seen lots of Jedi fall away from the Jedi's teachings and fall to the dark side, but we've never seen, at least what's implied here, a Sith, a dark side user, get disillusioned with the way that the Sith do things, and he just goes off and does his own thing. The closest we had seen to that is Maul, during the Clone Wars and especially in Rebels, where he still uses the dark side and, of course, still has his red saber, but is not aligned with the Sith. He's doing his own thing.
Yes, it's very unusual to have that. You always have the Jedi that falls to the dark side, maybe escape it and become more like a gray Jedi. But yeah, this is the first time I've ever witnessed a Sith of any level walk away from being the Sith and being a true Ronin. And as opposed to being just a guy that goes around and starts slaying everybody in a village just because he can, a true defender. He is more Jedi than some of the Jedi. Let's put it that way.
Yeah,
but
because some of the prequel era Jedi really would not have cared that much.
No, they wouldn't have
about the village.
And that's part of the problem with the Jedi Order as the stories unfolded, is they started to have too much of a concentration on the core worlds and not enough care for the outer rims, and we saw where that ended up, how that ended for the galaxy. But it is definitely very interesting, and everything about this Ronin screams samurai. The way that the twin sabers, the way that they're hilted on his left hip, his traditional garb. Even his droid is wearing a straw hat.
I noticed that, and I got a little bit of a kick out of that.
Oh yeah. As long as you don't take into consideration some of the things that they missed, specifically with the angles that were, basically the way the camera was angled was wrong for a Kurosawa film. It looked like it had been adapted more for an American audience as opposed to a Japanese audience. And the angles is one, and the lack of spirituality or an explanation to it. There's a little bit of it there at the end when he finally is able to best the Sith Lord that has the umbrella, and yes, the umbrella is an excellent defensive weapon. And in traditional Japanese, the umbrella is definitely it has multiple uses, and it is something that, if you're clever, can be adapted into a mighty fine set of weapons. So yeah, anybody that poo-poos on the umbrella, shame on you. Go and look at Japanese cinema. You'll see how prevalent it is, and it fits in with everything else. When you think back on it, when Maul first showed up and he did this double saber, I'm pretty sure there were some purists that said, "That's not a lightsaber, man. For dueling, you got to have a single blade." For traditional dueling, that is correct. But that basically became more like a bow staff as opposed to just a straight saber. So there's always room for interpretations or uniqueness within a weapon set. All the katanas, there's different types of katanas. You got your different lengths of katanas, the shorter ones, there's a different name for them. But the point is, there doesn't have to be just one set way of doing things. And with the way that they did their sabers, especially for the Ronin, that's when he pulled that saber from its scabbard, that was so wicked sick cool.
It was. Also the shot of him catching his opponent's saber like that.
Yes. He is powerful and strong in the Force to be able to stop an attack midair. Not the blasters, but the actual attack from a Sith and their lightsaber. That's impressive.
So I think that's all that we can think of to talk about with this episode. So thank you guys for watching.
Well, overall, I'll give this one out of a 5 on a 5-star system. I'll give this one overall 4.5 on both I'll give it a 4.5 on the Star Wars side, and I'll give it a 4 on the animation side from an anime perspective. So great episode. Want more of it. I wish they would do more. They need to do more.
Since you gave a rating, I'll do it too. I can agree on the 4.5 stars from the Star Wars side, and I think that's all I'm going to do for a ranking is how well does it represent Star Wars to me. So 4.5 out of 5 stars for this one for me. And with that, thank you guys for watching this video. Make sure to like and subscribe if you haven't already. And just remember, guys, Number one, make sure to subscribe to Golgo 13's Anime 101. But more importantly, the Force is family. See you
The
guys
Force
later.
is family.